Getting lost taps into a primal fear within us all. It's a feeling that can strike suddenly, leaving your heart pounding and your mind racing. In the wild, that fear is magnified, and in the chaos of war, it becomes overwhelming. Imagine that fear amplified by the chaos of war. No GPS, no phone, no map. Just you, your instincts, and the unknown stretching in every direction. The world feels vast, and every shadow could be a threat. This is the ultimate survival test, relying on ancient instincts. You must draw on skills passed down through generations, reading the land, listening to the wind, and trusting your senses. Soldiers in history faced this challenge, navigating with the sun, stars, and land. They learned to read the sky at dusk, to follow the flow of rivers, and to use even the smallest clue to find their way. These stories teach us resilience and ingenuity. They remind us that survival is not just about strength, but about adapting, learning, and working together. It's not just about finding north, it's about survival. Every choice can mean the difference between life and death, and every moment demands your full attention. Every decision matters when you're cold, hungry, and hunted. Hunger gnaws at your resolve, cold seeps into your bones, and the threat of discovery is ever present. Navigation becomes an act of defiance. Each step forward is a refusal to surrender, a testament to the will to survive against all odds. The natural world provides subtle clues: moss on trees, the shape of valleys, the direction of stream flows. Even the way birds fly or the scent of the air can guide you. Panic is the real killer. Mental fortitude is key. When fear threatens to take over, it's your mind that must stay sharp and focused. Soldiers who survived weren't the strongest, but the most determined. They found strength and hope in memories of home and in the belief that they could make it through. They assessed their environment, made a plan, and executed it. Every action was deliberate, every movement calculated to conserve energy and avoid danger. Mental toughness is the true compass guiding you home. It's the inner voice that says, keep going, even when the path is unclear. In survival, your mind is your greatest asset. It can turn fear into focus and despair into determination. Stay calm, think clearly, and refuse to give up. The ability to pause, breathe, and make rational decisions is what keeps you alive. This mental resilience is the foundation of survival. It's what separates those who make it from those who don't. It's a journey within yourself, not just on a map. In the end, finding your way is as much about conquering your own doubts as it is about navigating the wilderness. World War I's trenches were a maze of mud, wire, and endless craters, stretching for miles across devastated landscapes. Soldiers found themselves in a labyrinth where every turn looked the same, and the ground itself seemed to shift with each new bombardment. Maps, painstakingly drawn, became outdated within hours as artillery fire reshaped the land. At night, darkness was absolute. No lamps, no moon, just the black void, making orientation nearly impossible. To survive, soldiers became experts in micronavigation, learning to read the smallest details of the battlefield. They studied every dip, every rise, and every scar in the earth, turning chaos into a mental map. They memorized the jagged silhouettes of shattered trees, the unique patterns of shell craters, and the subtle textures of mud underfoot, each feature a vital landmark in a world stripped of familiar signs. On cloudy nights, even the stars disappeared, leaving soldiers to rely on the sounds around them, the distant rumble of guns, the shouts of comrades, or the sudden flare of a signal rocket to find their way. Compasses, once trusted, often failed in the trenches. The abundance of metal, shrapnel, helmets, and weapons interfered with their accuracy, leaving soldiers to question even the most basic directions. In these conditions, instincts and rigorous training became more valuable than any piece of equipment. Soldiers learned to trust their senses and each other, moving with caution and determination. Crawling through pitch-black trenches, they developed an internal map, piecing together the battlefield in their minds, step by careful step, always alert to danger. The psychological pressure was immense. Fear was a constant companion, but it had to be mastered. Panic could mean disaster for the whole unit. Survival depended on mental discipline and unwavering focus. Soldiers practiced calming their minds, blocking out terror to make clear decisions in the chaos. They advanced slowly, moving from one crater to the next, always scanning for danger, always adapting to the ever-changing terrain. This mental resilience forged in the mud and fear of the trenches became their greatest survival tool, more important than any weapon or map. Even in the heart of chaos, the human spirit found ways to endure, adapt, and overcome, proving that hope and determination could survive even the darkest nights. The Eastern Front's vast plains were a deadly trap. Winter turned the world into a blinding white desert. Soldiers relied on subtle environmental clues for navigation. Sun, winds, and snowdrifts became their guides. Survival was about finding shelter and water. Mental resilience was key against the endless white. They focused on short-term goals, breaking down the journey. This focus and refusal to surrender were vital. The Pacific jungle was a dense, green nightmare. Celestial navigation was impossible. Maps rotted. Water was the ultimate guide. Streams led to rivers. Vegetation and sounds became navigational tools. Soldiers learned to read the jungle's rhythm. Patience and discipline were crucial for survival. Rushing led to exhaustion and getting lost. Calm, deliberate movement was key to conquering the jungle. The Arctic's unforgiving environment challenged soldiers. Magnetic compasses failed near the North Pole. Stars and wind patterns became primary guides. Dead reckoning required discipline and focus. The psychological toll was immense. Teamwork was vital. Routine and discipline kept minds sharp. Enduring the cold and darkness tested human adaptability. Even in alien landscapes, we find ways to navigate. The Arctic proved the strength of human will. These stories remind us of the remarkable, innate human capabilities that often lie dormant within us, waiting to be awakened by adversity. When faced with the unknown, our instincts and resourcefulness can become our greatest allies. In today's world, we've outsourced direction to technology, often forgetting the ancient art of natural navigation. Yet the ability to read the land and sky is a skill that once meant the difference between life and death. Mental resilience is timeless, a quality that transcends generations and is applicable to all challenges, whether on a battlefield or in everyday life. Survivors learn to replace panic with patience and careful observation, using every clue in their environment to make wise decisions. Skills like terrain reading and natural navigation remain relevant, empowering us to find our way even when the path is unclear. These abilities connect us to the world around us, building confidence, self-reliance, and a deeper understanding of our place in nature. Human adaptability shines brightest when we are pushed to the very edge, revealing strengths we never knew we had. Soldiers and explorers alike tapped into this inner strength, teaching us to trust our internal compass and intuition, even in the darkest moments. No matter how lost we may feel, we possess a well of courage and ingenuity, ready to be drawn upon when needed most. We just have to learn to trust it and remember that survival is not just about enduring, but about rediscovering the power within ourselves.